Greetings, Benjamin J. from BENZTRAINZ with another in the series. Well, this is that $7.999 that just arrived, and this has been here less than half an hour. And as you see, I've replaced the wheel and the push rod, and it only took a minute to do this. Now, when these wheels are in the condition that this one was in, that intergranular degeneration, they swell up, they start turning to powder, and literally I had this wheel off of here in 5 seconds. Just gave it a good tug, didn't even need the wheel puller. Pushed the new wheel on, or pressed the new wheel on with its new push rod, and I put 2 drops of oil on the armature bearing, 2 drops of oil on the output shaft, and I cleaned the armature with alcohol. Also unpacked the original tender. As you see, an 8-wheel tender with tilt coupler. Anyway, so $7 on eBay. It's been here less than half an hour, and it is running. As you see. All right. See if it'll run in reverse. Stuck in forward so far. Yep. So, and that's one of the drawbacks of keeping these things stored in a damp environment, is that oxide covers not only the outside of the locomotive, it covers all the electronic contacts. All right, let's connect this to a consist. And let's see how it runs. I think we're pulling 12 cars. If we can get it to go run forward at first. There we go. All right. So as you see, that's 50% power. So was it worth $7? You bet it was. $7 and about 10 minutes of my time. This has been here less than half an hour. It runs nice and smooth. It has lots of power. No hesitation of any kind. This is running really well. So I replaced the headlight. I replaced the wheel and the push rod. And I put on 4 drops of oil and cleaned the brushes. That's it. That's all I've done to it. And you know, when you buy something for parts, like I said, I always see what it's going to take to get these running before I actually tear them apart. There's nothing wrong with this other than the fact that it's been stored for decades, years and years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. It takes a long time for an engine to get in this condition from being stored. Like I said, very likely in a damp basement. And this has probably been stored as long as I've been alive. I mean, this thing is just covered in oxide. But the thing is, it's running. And in less than 10 minutes, I had that wheel replaced, the push rod replaced, the light bulb replaced, a couple of drops of oil and a bit of alcohol to clean the armature and the brushes, and the engine is up and running. Not only running, it's running really well. Pulling 12 cars, I believe, 12. So the difficult part has already been done. We've got it running. Now it's just a matter of cleaning it up, getting it lubed and tuned, and getting that E-unit to cycle correctly. And if it continues to be problematic, I will just bypass it. But as far as a running 999, really difficult to beat this for $7. You know, and this is why I always stress, don't overlook the junk. You can do this on an absolute shoestring budget simply by buying these junky old engines that nobody else wants. And is it perfect? No, it isn't. But it's running. And in just a few minutes, you can have this cleaned up and turn it into a really decent looking original Marx 999 for $7. I mean, you just can't beat that. And it came with its original tender, 8-wheel tender. So really difficult to beat the price, plus you have the fun of fixing it. And again, I stress, if you have a group of parts, you can fix any engine you can find on eBay, literally. So I had this thing running in 5 minutes. I pulled that wheel off there, installed the new wheel, the push rod, replaced the light bulb, a few drops of oil, and that's it. That is all I have done to it so far. And it's running really, really well. As you can see, there's no damage to it. The paint is trashed simply because of bad storage. So we can clean this up, paint this with oil, and without doing anything else to it, you're going to have a decent looking 999 that runs really well. Again, there's no damage to it. The handrails are intact. They're not bent. There's no damage. There isn't a whole lot of play wear to this. Most of the damage to this engine happened after it was stored. And it just sat and sat and sat and sat and sat for years and years, decades. And eventually, if you'd left it in there, the entire thing would have just turned to powder, just like that wheel did. And it progresses one to the next, to the next, to the next. And remember, the shell is made out of the same material as the wheels. And so if you leave these things sitting for years and years, it literally just begins to disintegrate. But in this case, it only took a few minutes to get this engine running. And like I said, if the E-unit remains problematical, I will just bypass it. Hopefully, I can get it running and cycling with no problem. The only way to tell, of course, is to get it running again and then run it. And this has been run more in the last 5 minutes than it has in the last 30 years. There's no doubt about that. So I just wanted to do a follow-up video. So the Marx 999 is up and running with its original 8-wheel tender. $7 on eBay. Really difficult to beat that. And it was running less than 10 minutes after it got here. I mean, all I had to do was replace the wheel and the push rod, a few drops of oil, and a bit of cleaning. And so now I will run it, clean it well, get it lubed and tuned, and this is going to be a great addition to the collection. $7 on eBay with its original 8-wheel tender. Really difficult to beat that. So I've got to say it, don't overlook the junk. You can do this on an absolute shoestring budget. This was $7. It cost more to ship it than it did to buy it. So just wanted to do a quick video follow-up on this. I'll be running this the rest of the day, and in the next hour or so, this is going to be a really nice looking 999 that was virtually dirt cheap. One of the parts on this engine cost more than $7. Anyway, just wanted to do a video. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop an email, BENZTRAINZ@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.